On my mark. 5,
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Van.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force. Shawnee, you are bang on. That's exactly what I was looking for, is making sure that the audio was actually working. And it looks like we're on.
30 seconds in and no glitches. It's a new record.
Oh, why would you say that out loud?
Because he enjoys
I didn't say there wouldn't be one later. I just said we're 30 seconds in. We're okay.
Where's my beanie? My beanie is sitting in the other room, actually.
It's getting to be too hot for beanies.
Couple of
Where he
hydrates
lives.
already. Cheers.
Motherfuckers.
Right out the gate.
Fuck your mug.
It's a mean thing to say about my face.
Oh yeah, that too.
Terrible, so.
The bigger question is, where's my beanie? Al, I wish I knew. I wish I knew where your beanie was. That's two from Heathen. Thank you.
Although I can't wear this with my earbuds in. It's killing me right now. So
Goodness me.
it's too much of my almost natural hair color. It's killing me. I hate it.
So please forgive the
I was literally
averageness.
trying to think last time, DK, that I saw your hair close to its natural color. It's been a minute.
Are you a natural blonde?
Yeah, I mean, like during COVID, when we couldn't go to stylists and stuff like that, when we were all taking the regulations seriously, I didn't have it dyed for a good long chunk then, and it got rather long. But yeah, other than that, I find it too boring.
Yeah. That makes me very happy. So Al said on a positive note, he has a beautiful new Josh and the Jet Noise t-shirt. I decided to rep the boys today as well myself. I quite like this print, actually. We'll see how long it lasts, because generally block prints split after, a year or so. But that's a long time. And I like it. But anyway, enough of that bullshit. Good morning to everyone. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for popping in and hanging out with us today whilst we wax poetic about Laser Force as we normally do. We're at a point where usually around this time of year there's a lull, right? There's a lull in content. And
Hang on. There's always a lull.
yeah. It's
This
more.
whole year has been a lull.
It's more prevalent. Like back in the day, we would just not do a podcast for like what,
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, until like it got closer to Nats, and then we'd start building up Nats and blah blah blah. Since we've switched to this format, we're trying to commit to doing a show once a week, and that means that we have to really scrape the very bottom of the barrel. Luckily, down the bottom of the barrel is where Stallion lived. No. So, I wanted to do a very, very special shout out to you, Stallion, because you've come up with some great ideas for content for our podcast, which we will happily milk for all they're worth. But yeah, no, seriously, thank you for the ideas. Chatting with you this week was enlightening. So, but we'll touch on some stuff. There's some stuff coming.
We're touching stuff?
Huh?
We're touching stuff?
We're touching stuff. That's. I mean, you can't see my hands for a reason.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit.
Jesus Christ, fucking Matt just dropped a nuke and it scared the shit out of me. I wish that would play through the headphones so that you guys could hear it too. One day.
I'm just as fine that they don't.
Yeah. One day we'll get a proper mixer, and then I will force that upon you guys.
Well, before that can happen, y'all need to buy some more subscriptions. So give us some money.
We're gonna be one of those shows where the people are like, oh my god, I can't believe you can afford a coffee. You can afford to give us $10 a stream.
No. No.
Absolutely,
we are never going to do that show.
Yeah.
No. I fucking refuse.
But we'll get there. We'll get there one day. What I wanted to talk about first was a quick update. Now, obviously, a few weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago, I sort of made a commitment to health. It popped into my head this morning. I haven't actually talked about it since we initially did. Not really, anyway. This week has been a real struggle mentally for me for whatever reason. I don't know why. I seem to be feeling a bit better today. Thursday was a real low point. The Underdome Thursday, whilst it was fun eventually, we had all sorts of tech issues, which really bummed me out because everything has been upgraded and I was expecting it to run smoothly. It didn't, and I had a sulk about it. So, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is I have made some dietary changes in my life. I'm trying to commit to be more active during the week, at least 3 times a week. When I initially weighed myself, I think I was at 119 kgs. I'm down to just under 116, which is nice. I don't think all of that initial weigh was accurate, so we'll see how much I'm actually dropping. I think it's more like closer to like a kg every few weeks, which I think is a healthy trajectory, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
Doing the gradual process leads to it actually tending to stay off better.
Yeah.
As opposed to crashing it and then
fewer trips to hospital.
Yeah.
That too.
Trips to hospital, terrible.
Cheers. You're not wrong. Trips to hospital are fairly average. Trips to hospital in this country aren't as bad as trips to hospital in yours. I didn't have to get...
Especially now.
yeah, especially now. Just stay home. Don't even worry about it. But anyway, so I thought
if you don't have COVID now, you will then.
I thought I'd... that was 2 hydrates. It was. Apologies.
Oh, yeah,
Cheers.
Motherfucker.
I don't care.
I'm gonna
Fuck
finish.
your rules. Fuck the police.
I just wanted to touch on it briefly because I hadn't yet. The second thing I wanted to do was I wanted to give a shout out to everyone that helped out my boy Gray over at Truly Awful Gaming. He got officially affiliated this week with Twitch, so
Yay.
he's actually, if you like, all the money that he raises on his channel is going towards a charity. I can't remember the name of the charity, but basically they make payments to struggling artists who have been directly affected by COVID and not being able to gig. So any money that goes into his channel, he's giving back to other people, which is pretty freaking sweet. I think that's really awesome. So if you're feeling overly charitable, donate to us first, and then go to chuck him a sub. I know he'd really appreciate it. And his streams are actually really entertaining as well. So check out his channel if you haven't already done so. Speaking of building a community, boom, segue. This is what I was sort of alluding to before. I had a conversation. Well, actually, Stallion messaged me, I think yesterday or day before, and he was like, "Hey man, do you have any Resupply posters designed?" And I was like, "No, why?" He said, "Well, what I would like to do is print some out and then hang." I think he said hang at his work, or hang at Lasers in Wellington, and basically. Hang at Lasers. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. Not at your work, no.
Yeah, given where I know he works, that would.
That's yeah. No.
No, that would be no.
But I thought it was a really an amazing idea actually, because the hardest part about building the community is actually getting people to join your community. Like, and I'm talking more specifically about building the Space Marines tournament scene, which we kind of use. This whole channel spawned out of building hype around nationals and our tournament scene. So if we can go, I thought it was a really good idea. So what I'm going to do is put together a poster. If you want the design files to print out a copy for yourself, and potentially hang it at your local Laser Force center, let me know and I'll send you the design files once we've designed it up. If you have any ideas around the design, feel free to shoot me an email, and I could put something together, or message, email. But the idea essentially will have direct QR codes to our Discord, our YouTube channel, and then our Twitch. Want me to make a chat for her on Discord? Please. Yeah, that'd be cool. So if we can, we'll try and if Jeff allows it, we could hang on LLT. That would be awesome. I'm sure. I know Jeff is a fan of the community, as far as I'm aware. So I mean,
he goes back and forth on that.
Smart.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Um,
We all have a love-hate relationship with the community.
Yeah, sometimes he's okay with the community, sometimes not so much. It's a thing.
Yeah. But I think it'd be. I think it's a really great idea. So that again, Stallion for the win. It's an amazing idea, and I think what we'll try and do is we'll try and make the Discord. This is direct. I'm talking directly to you, Matt. Are you listening? Is I want to try and alter the Discord in a way that's accessible for people that have never really used Discord before, or you know, like target like the intro or the welcoming space of the Discord towards people new to the scene and what they can expect from the channel, from the server, like the Discord server, etc., etc.
A whole bunch of bullshit. They can expect a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, but like hold their
Without
hand
bullshit.
through the entrance and then expand their horizons into the wonderful world of Discord. Yeah, so I thought it was a fantastic idea. So we're gonna talk to Auckland ownership this week about hanging a giant one there. Possibly a digital version that I know a lot of places run advertising on screens and stuff, so maybe we can arrange a digital version as well. But yeah, if you'd like a copy for your local tag center or bathroom or wherever else you like to look at things related to Laser Force, let me know and we can arrange that. But I thought it was such a good idea. It's such a simple thing too. Like,
Yep.
Well,
Definitely encouraged you putting it in the bathroom. Nothing will make this shit faster than seeing the three of us.
fucking these guys again.
Nobody wants to see that, but I mean, and it is one of those. It's one of those things that it's a really obvious idea, but it's that thing that like you don't ever really think about because it's so obvious.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I think it also takes like that like I don't really have specific marketing training or project management training or anything like that. So sometimes it takes like certain individuals to tap into the way their mind works.
Says the business owner out of the three of us.
I'm talking specifically. I don't do that as I do all sorts. I have many hats. Who the fuck would be a project manager? Great question, Stallion. Great question. He did.
Nobody's sane would ever be
Crazy
It's
people.
like bullshit trying to get people that you're not actually directly responsible for to try to fucking do work. Not that I would know about that at all.
He signed off. A QR code would be good as this writing on the posters. Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. Heathen. That he did sign off. Stallion signed off the message with. I think I got bit by the bug again, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen after the tournament. I was like, we're just going to reel him back in.
That is what this is all good for.
That's exactly right. I did also see over there on the chat, Heathen mentioned earlier in the chat about the Rocket Lab stream to raise money for Starship Children's Hospital in Auckland, New Zealand. If you haven't already done so, there's a link to their YouTube page. They launched a rocket here yesterday, and I watched the whole thing. It was dope, man. I don't think I've watched a full launch all the way. Actually, it was most of the way through. It was cool. They sent a gnome into space. It was really fun. But yeah, check that out if you want to, like, you know, do some more good in your community without, or in my community, without having to do any work. That's a great one. Go and check out the stream. But speak of newcomers to the community, and again, courtesy of Stallion, this whole show is all his brainchild without him knowing. Well, he kind of knows. There's a new site. A new site is coming. It's making its way to New Zealand shores, which makes me so happy, as I'm sure it makes you both equally as happy.
So
I'm always happy for new Laser Force sites, even when I can't personally enjoy them.
Yeah.
So before we, you know, sojourn into the, you know, new Laser Force, new and shiny, and, you know, us speculating wildly, do we, you know, do we want to cover off a possible thing that may be happening?
Actually,
in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, possible with like 15 asterisks on it.
Yeah. Oh God, so many asterisks on this. So, so right now, so the last thing that happened in the States was, you know, Nerd Sturgis in St. George a couple of months ago.
And so far as we know, nobody got COVID from it.
Yeah. And so that, you know, that was encouraging. Now, granted, right at this moment, everything is going fucking shit here. But I've reached back out to Eves and Tandor in St. George to, you know, possibly look at doing some sort of funsies thing in the February-March timeframe, like so mid-February to mid-March, somewhere in that range. Mostly selfishly, so I can go.
Yeah,
No,
you had your chance, buddy. Forget it.
No, I'm being straight up honest on that.
That FOMO's real.
Oh, dude, FOMO is so real. But I'm looking at, you know, my gap in work scheduling when I'm not having to do, you know, planning for the next quarter, and that's when it falls into. So yeah, as Stallion just said in the chat, self-enlightened motivation does work. So looking at something in that time frame that we're literally just going to, you know, kind of market as it's funsies. Maybe it's, you know, essentially 3 or 4 days worth of members nights, because that gives us the most amount of leeway for, like, so if we get close and people have to drop for whatever reason, it doesn't munt the whole process. Yeah. But what it does do is, you know, if we get a decent amount of people, and when everybody gets there, we go, hey, actually, no, we can actually do, you know, some more officially fun type tournament with actual set teams. Then, you know, we can do that sort of thing last minute, because let's face it, we're really, we have all that shit done. We have those schedules just sitting out as templates. We can do shit like that really, really quickly. But, you know, there's obviously so many of us that don't have any lasers at all right now, and, you know, so much of what was good that came out of the last one was, you know, actually getting to see people. And so, you know, so kind of put that into the back of your heads if you're in the US, that, you know, kind of in that time frame, it's a thing. We'll obviously get a little more solidified with, you know, the possible dates that the thing might happen here in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
obviously
it's also kind of contingent. I mean, with the holidays coming up, recommendations have gone out to the universe about, hey, you know, don't have a bunch of people over for the holidays and don't travel for the holidays. And Americans are like, fuck it, I'm gonna do that anyway. So we're probably gonna get another spike of cases, would be my guess, around both Thanksgiving and Christmas time. That could fuck us all up. But hey, if the new state restrictions work shortly after the new year and cases kind of come back down, maybe we can look at this again, but yeah, it's all very, very, very preliminary, and
When did you say
really
again?
shouldn't be making any promises at this point.
Yeah, I'm definitely not making any promises with it, but my thought process being, in addition to it being super selfish with the timing, that kind of mid-late February into March, that's time shifted enough from now that we may be in a
We can
better
see what
place
happens.
to be able to do it. So
Yeah.
it'll be.
You see that too?
Yeah.
So that's just
Uh-oh.
something to keep in mind potentially.
Yes.
I think we just had a glitch in the Matrix.
So,
Wait, what are you talking about? Are you talking about Heathen's comment? what are you looking
No,
at? Was there
no,
did
I
a cat run past?
got like a sudden like freeze up. I wasn't sure if everybody caught that.
Oh,
Maybe it was
no.
just on my end.
No.
Oh, okay.
probably just you and your shitty internet.
Me and my shitty bandwidth, since everybody in California is suddenly using their internet.
It's because you jinxed it before.
Yeah.
Totally did.
Yeah.
You can all check Facebook when you're at work. Why are you getting on right now? Go away.
Yeah, fuck off.
Fuck
yeah.
off, California.
So we're thinking. I mean, if a Trans-Tasman bubble opens, that's kind of when we would like to do something as well, or sort of that March, April kind of area. And if we don't do something Trans-Tasman, then we may do some sort of road trip.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
To a
Beautiful.
possibly new site.
To a possibly...
Segway!
Boom! Professional. Matt's going to be flying back to shoot us all. Excellent. That sort of carry on will get you flagged at the borders, my friend. There is talks of a potential road trip coming. Stallion did far more investigative journalism than we have ever done, and actually made a phone call and had a conversation with some people. So there is a...
Who fucking does that? Who fucking calls anybody anymore?
Yeah. But he said we put a post up and it was, New Plymouth to get new laser tags psyched. New Plymouth's about a 5-hour drive south from where we are in Auckland. So it is, a decent for New Zealand standards. That's a long way away.
Easy. That's like half a St. George trip. That's no problem.
For anyone in
No
Texas,
problem.
that's your morning commute.
Not too far off the truth sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, so obviously we were like, I wonder what kind of site they're getting, and he made a phone call, and they confirmed that it is a Laser Force Gen 8 system that is being installed, which makes me super happy because Gen 8 is, I love
Sexy.
it. It's so
Gen 8's
good.
sexy.
It's so good. Like, the gun feels so comfortable. The suits look sharp. I mean, it may be that everything is shiny and new. But
it is pretty sexy.
I mean, they're like, the interface is really cool on the back of the gun. The avatars look amazing. Like, the whole thing is fucking cool.
Yeah, Gen 8 only has 3 detractors. You know who you are, and you're all wrong.
Great till Gen 9. Exactly right, Maddie. Exactly right. AKA Slamman, AKA Stalker.
Yeah.
Good
You
job.
got it right, Steve. Good job.
I know
Well
things.
done.
I know things.
Sure?
He's our number one sub giver. I think you've given out like
I would think so.
1 billion subscriptions.
It's been a lot. It's good.
Yeah, there's 2 things you can do, like 2 major charities you can give to, right? You either feed the kids in Africa or you give them all subscriptions to the Resupply. One of the 2.
One's as good as the other, really.
That's right. Oh, speaking of which,
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
thank you so much. Thanks so much for the gift sub. And that went to Stallion. That's so perfect.
Oh, good. Exactly what we need.
Yeah.
And
So,
Matt
see, you're being compensated for your hard work, Stallion.
If we could we get some Reggies in chat? That'd be super nice. Yeah, Reggie, boom, bunch of Reggies. Yeah, so New Plymouth's getting a site, and it means that I think that makes like maybe a half dozen Laser Force sites in New Zealand now that I'm aware of. There could be way more that are just like zap tag small sites. Look at those Reggies, looks awesome, and a couple of Stevos too.
I didn't want you to feel left out.
I mean, my main's not quite as good as Reggie, but it's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
So New Plymouth, I've not really been to New Plymouth ever. And they used to have a Laser Force site. I think they were the second or maybe third site in New Zealand, Laser Force. But they've been the original New Plymouth one is long since closed. They were the second site. Yeah, right on. I know that that's old timer Professor Trev, who was like the granddaddy of New Zealand or Auckland Laser Force. He had something like 1,000 games at the old New Plymouth site.
Seriously?
Yeah, he played fucking heaps there. He played it under codename Steppenwolf was his codename there, which was kind of cool. But you know, obviously none of them count towards the I Play Laser Force stats because they closed down before those stats were ever captured. As many of you can sympathize with. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I sympathize with the loss of games, as does DK, because when Sacramento changed over originally from Force to Zone before things were a thing.
Yeah.
I lost just over 2,000 games, and DK, you lost like 1,500 or 1,600 or something stupid like that.
I think it was more than that. I don't think I was that far behind you, but
that was
whatever. We'll say
you hadn't hit 2,000. Yeah. I know that. I know.
Somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000, and really it should be more than that because of all of the like Space Marines games that had to end early before the auto timer went off.
Oh right.
Well, actually, not really, because I used to go back in and add all those.
Sometimes.
No,
Slamman
did. I did.
Slamman said, "I lost 10,000. You have no proof I'm lying." I believe you, bro. You have bought my loyalty. I will back you 100%.
Yeah. All Stalkers games, along with all the Trump votes in Georgia, they just mysteriously disappeared.
You want me to off someone? I'm right there with you, bro. You got me. Well, actually, that's at the 50 subscription mark. Then I'll off someone for you. Yeah. So, they used to have a site. I really wish I got to check out what the maze was like. Stallion, I would imagine that you played there. Any insight that you can give, we will happily again milk. But yeah, it is nice to see something coming back there. New Plymouth's not a big place. Yeah, it was a so-so maze. That's probably why they closed. So yeah, we with the opening of that place, it sets up a good snaky down the country reason to go on a road trip. Because from there, Wellington must be 4 hours away, I want to guess. Maybe a little further, maybe 4 hours away. Feel free to correct me. Being a 4.5, yeah, that's what I was guessing. But it does set up for us to do a road trip, a Laser Force road trip. And I was talking to Sneak earlier today. I sent him a message. I was like, hey, do you remember when we did previous road trips in the past as a site? And he was like, nah, man, I can't remember. He said that you can't remember because you were high on mushrooms. I was like, I mean, I can't confirm or deny that. But we did a Wellington road trip in 2004, which I can't remember if you were in the country then, Than. That sounds yeah. Did you came on that trip, right?
Yeah, that was a if I remember correctly, that was the mini tourney that we did at Wellington, basically for Baden and Rusty's birthday, and it worked out because I had to go to Wellington for stuff for immigration paperwork anyway.
Right. Perfect.
So there was this gap where like, yeah, I have to go pick up paperwork from immigration.
We
so
might
I'll be
as well
back.
all come with you.
Let's just
I'll be
go.
back in a few hours. And that was amusing because Baden and Brent's mom actually like signed some stuff like as a character reference for me.
She's
So-
like, you totally right.
Oh, what a mistake there.
so literally their mom is one of the reasons that I got my actual work permit and work visa when I
Legend.
was there. So,
Legend.
you know,
Thanks, Mrs.
Good on
Baden
her.
and Rusty's mum. Yeah, so that was a good trip. I remember stealing Lone Soul's pants so I could go out to town and drink.
Blimey.
Because he was too young, so you know, I stole that young boy's pants so I could drink. You gotta, hey man, what goes on tour sometimes comes home with you.
comes back on a podcast.
That's exactly right. We'll talk about it in 10 years' time when people are less, you know, embarrassed about it.
I have no shame, so whatever.
Yeah, I've got to like a little bit. So yeah, the prospect of doing a road trip, especially if we can, you know, I'm sure we can twist the arm of Stallion and meet us up in New Plymouth. Maybe.
Just
yeah.
maybe.
We'll play some games. It'll be especially good if and when the Napier site can reopen. It is on the complete opposite coast. But again, New
Good, I
Zealand's-
was imagining that properly. Thank you.
you know your geo. You got it. 100% you'd be there. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, sir.
You can do like the four corners of the North Island then. It'd be like Auckland.
it works
New
out that
Plymouth,
way.
Wellington.
No,
we
literally, yeah.
we would cover the perimeter of the North Island almost. There's a bunch of north, but much like Game of Thrones, there's fuck all up there.
Yeah, you would cover the points of the compass on the North Island that actually mattered.
Exactly right. Yeah, we're hitting their major.
You just
spots.
need to build like a laser force like on a mountaintop right in the middle, and that way you can just have something there.
Rotorua. Just put it in Rotorua.
So actually,
fine.
Rotorua is not that central.
That's not that far from Auckland though, right?
It's like 3 hours, 3.5.
Yeah,
but
that's not
it's
that far.
I only
Close
learned
enough.
this year. I only really paid attention to where Rotorua actually is, and it is like not as central as I thought it was. If you want central, Taupo is where it's at. Yeah, I like that pronunciation. Taupo, sorry for all you whiteys.
Taupo.
Taupo, Taupo. Make the Southern Cross.
Big
exactly.
ass volcano.
Yes.
You're right, Maddie. Rodak is up north. Poor bastard. We'll have to convince him to come down and go on a road trip with us. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the maze. Apparently, they've got a company in doing the design. Talpo. I mean, that's not far off. Actually, it's very far off. What am I talking about? It's not far off the white man's pronunciation. Yeah, we Talpo. We're very interested to see what they do with the maze, because obviously when you have an external company, I don't know if it's an external company, but one of those companies that actually designs arenas, they're not really designed for competitive play in mind.
No.
At least not intentionally.
Which leads us into the next segment. We were having a chat last night because we were trying to sort out today so that it looked nice and everything worked properly and yada yada yada. For the most part, it did. With the one very
Pulling
tiny
back the
exception.
curtain. We didn't come up with any topics until last night, sometime around 10 p.m.
And it was like, oh my god! So like Stallion just posted a bunch of stuff. We could definitely rip all of that off. But to be fair, you riffed off the idea and were like, well, why don't we talk about like what it is that we look for in a laser tag arena, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah. Or part of the other thing I was thinking, like, if you just had a giant pile of money and money was no object and you could just design a laser force site from the ground up, like, what would you want to do with it?
Oh, they said something about split level. Awesome. Actually, just quickly.
I'll split your level.
Look, it ain't D&D today, all right? You ain't the boss yet. And then a big fiery death ball flies out of the sky and kills everything. A roll for initiative.
Rocks fall,
TPK.
everyone dies.
Yeah, I did see the photo that you sent from the news article that you sent through Stallion, and the warehouse that they're working with looks fucking huge. And I don't know if that's all laser tag or if it's an FEC. I think it's an FEC, Family Entertainment Center.
It was an FEC because it was like there was bowling and other stuff in it
Right.
as well. So
Yeah.
so the operant question to start with is, how much space are they actually going to give to
Yeah.
the tag, and how many suits are they actually going to do with said space?
Well,
Like that's always the
Bolorama. It's such a good name for a bowling alley. Classics. Didn't think to ask about suit numbers. I would hope that you would have like in the 20 to 24 range of suits. I think that's probably a good number to have. To maximize the amount of people that you can get in the maze at once. Obviously, like having an even number makes it better for breaking teams. I would,
then I mean, 24 is also if we assume that it's a kind of a standard FEC setup where the bowling's the primary, the laser tag is kind of a secondary attraction to keep sucking money out of you.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's really what it's probably going to be. It's potentially just going to be a zap tag secondary.
Yeah.
Which if it's not a zap tag secondary and they actually like hook into I Play Laser Force and all that would be. But
Great.
Yeah.
With that sort of space, you are looking at that 20 to 24 suit kind of maximum, because they're probably, and this is just from years of going to various FECs and seeing what their mazes look like. They're probably only going to have a maze that's maybe the size of Auckland's, and it might not even be that big.
I mean, the other two that we played at for the triple threat, the other two that's in Auckland, both of those mazes are smaller than the YRL Laser Force, but they're still like fun mazes to play. Which kind of bodes well for this place, because if they've got Gen 8, it's all you really need. Like, if the suits are great and they have a mazy kind of setup, I think it'll work really well. And you could play some competitive-ish games there. So, I mean, it'll be kind of cool to see what they come up with. Does your cup have Josh and the Jet Noise sticker on it?
It does. Because,
Nice.
why wouldn't it?
That's dope. I just assumed it was like a takeaway cup.
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah. Heathen said we should call them now on stream. We haven't got quite to that part of the bottom of the barrel yet, but we will. Eventually, we're going to start just calling random people whilst we're talking to you guys.
Ask them if their refrigerator's running.
Get fucked. Click. If it's anything like the sites that I've seen up here that I think they're both in FECs and they both started as zap tag kind of setups. Since we weaseled our way into talking to management and stuff, they've added more games and the ability to have membership, which I don't think they push a lot. But hopefully with the help of some well-placed resupply posters, that'll start becoming more and more of a thing. We should talk to like head office about a way that we can like link the resupply into people's membership stats and shit. We'll figure all that out later. They're like, you guys are the worst thing to happen at Laser Force, so no thank you.
So I mean that comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah, well, because we are certainly not a corporate face
We don't censor ourselves for the man.
For the man. But you know, if they're willing to pay us, then I will shield the fuck out of their system. We already do anyway. So, official voice of Laser Force Corporate. We're not. Paradise
not
currently
at
has
all.
40 members. That's a lot of members, ish. I mean, you know, if it was 40 regulars, that'd be dope. Yeah. So, I mean, it bodes well. It bodes well for the health and longevity of Laser Force as a system in New Zealand, which is kind of cool. I would like to see more and more sites pop up. Because it gives me a reason to go and travel this fine country of mine. Well, another reason. I mean, this country's pretty cool, but
Yes.
you know, if there was that little added, oh, you also get to play Laser Force wherever you go, that's a good reason to travel. I would
Yes.
happily spend that petrol money.
I will be very much looking forward to making the Grand Prix de Laser Force when I make my way down to New Zealand finally.
I mean, it would make for some great content because we could do it. We could go to a site, we could play the site for 12 hours, and then do not 12 hours, like 3 hours, and then do a show afterwards, just rating how the maze looks. 3 hours is probably super optimistic as well.
Because that's what, if there's 3 or 4 in Auckland, so that's like 6 or 7 sites I could get to if I make it down to New Zealand for a couple of weeks.
I mean, like, here's hoping
You know, in
2021.
2025 when
Yeah.
Americans are allowed to go places again.
Actually, so I think all you need to do is marry a Kiwi, and then you'll be able to get like special dispensation.
Well, why don't you put a ring on it then, Steve?
That wasn't a proposal yet.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah, well, so I might start adding that as like special points redemptions. Is like if you redeem 10,000 special points, I'll marry DK.
Sorry, Dan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think she'd be keen. Sorry, bro. maybe like 5,000, and I'll adopt you as my illegitimate love child. That's how that works. Make it 100,000. All right, man. I'll do.
You
that.
can definitely adopt people who are older than you. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Pretty sure that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Or maybe you guys adopt me, and then that somehow that helps. I don't know how it would, but whatever. Once the Australia-New Zealand bubble includes Victoria, I'm planning a trip. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you, Al. It really bummed me out that I didn't get to see you guys, specifically you, because I love you, sir. You're a great person. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when you get to come here and we can hang out and, like, you know, eat ribs and play laser tag and, you know, maybe go see sports or something. Do some fun shit. I can't wait. It's gonna be good. Hopefully 2021. I'm hopeful, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hashtag I loves the shit.
Start churning that vaccine out, Pfizer. Come on.
Yeah, you lazy fuck. Keep posting on dates. I'll join you if I have the funds. Yeah. I mean, you too, Matt. It would be cool to see you. I feel like I just saw you though. You only just left the country. But yeah, going back to what we were talking about.
Because we never fucking tangent on this channel ever.
That's
in
most
any way,
of our
shape, or form.
content.
Yeah.
You
so
may
as
have
far
heard of what's happening.
as far as, you know, and let's assume it's a mid-size arena that New Plymouth is going to have. I mean, in a perfect world, you definitely want it to be a 2-story arena. I don't know. I'm because they're having a company design it as opposed to, you know, it being kind of a self-designed maze. I'm leery that it may turn into some type of Creative Works cookie cutter type maze, which, you know, depending upon how the theming and everything is done, you know, those can work. And I should be fair. They're usually very visually striking they usually do have a certain amount of wow factor to them, so that when people walk into the arena, it literally is that, oh wow, this looks real fucking cool.
Yeah.
Um, and that is important. As Heathen says, depends upon how cheap they are. Yep. If they go if they go cheap with the design and cheap with the implementation, that can be very suboptimal as far as
slap some neon paint on it and you're good to go.
Yeah,
You're
I'll just
fine.
hang up some tarpaulins. Those count as walls.
Yeah. So I mean, having a second level would be ideal. In a perfect world, for that size maze. I don't know. I mean, Laser Force seems to have gotten like really really big into the whole beacon thing.
Yeah.
Random places to get points, which part of me part of me that really offends the purist in me.
Back in the day, we had to work for our points, kids.
Yeah.
2 times. Wow.
But at the same time, I do understand that for the general public interaction, I mean, you want them to have lots of things to shoot.
Yeah.
So that even when there's not necessarily a ton of people in the game, they've still got things that they can do.
Mm.
So I get it, but it does offend my purist sensibilities.
Then it's like, you pack up your Jade Serpent and get the fuck out.
Blech.
Yes. Pack up your Jade Serpent. Pack up your fucking Pharaoh bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. Just get the fuck rid of it. What the fuck is this?
I'm not sure if I've ever played on one of those types of mazes. Was there any any of the competitive scenes that were created by one of those types of companies?
So the Syracuse maze is actually
That's a Creative Works arena.
Right.
It is actually Creative Works, but they take the step of all the fucking little sniper holes that are in the walls get covered when they're doing play that is not general public.
Yeah.
So you don't have that random bullshit. The San Marcos maze, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was too, yeah.
What was a Creative Works just based on the theming?
I don't think I ever got to play there.
Which, I mean, to be fair, those were both on, I think, maybe both of our top 5, certainly in my top 5 when we were reviewing sites here in the US. So it's not like they do bad arenas at all.
Once you cover the sniper holes, they're fine.
But that's the same in most places, except Detroit, apparently. They're like, nah, bro, just fucking, that'll be fine.
Well, they covered the greats, so
yeah, true.
It's a similar concept.
Yeah, cover everything. That's what you want to do. You want to cover all those tiny holes, all those little gaps. Cover that shit up. Terrible. We have blocks actually for upstairs that we can fill the holes with. These big old blocks. Sniper holes were mentioned as well for New Plymouth. But it makes it fun for public usually, because they can stand up there and be like, oh, it's really cool. I can just get heaps of points. I don't even have to run. Just put my gun out and pew pew. That's my impression of typical Laser Force punter.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right. So I mean, there has been some Creative Works ones that have been pretty. I mean, I'm sure they do. I mean, that's why they're still in business, right?
Yeah, I mean they do for the things that they do very well.
Yeah.
They do well with having layouts that do make sense within the space that is given. I do think that they do a really good job of kind of maximizing both mazy and open space, and especially in a small to medium size arena, that's so
like Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean
they're fucking huge ass single level.
Yeah, for a single level, it's quite large.
Yeah.
and so obviously in a perfect world for New Plymouth, you hope that okay, yeah, they're gonna do 2 stories, and they're gonna have, you know, more of a mazier maze than an open maze. I mean, in a small to medium sized arena, it doesn't really make sense
Mm.
to have a lot of open space because, it actually makes that whole it actually makes the arena feel bigger in a small maze when you can't see as much of it at once. You actually you get that illusion of
Mm.
more space because you don't have the sight line through everything. Whereas an arena like Brisbane or Detroit, where you do have those huge fucking sight lines at time, and you go, wow, this is a massive maze. Like you want those massive sight lines in that type of large scale arena, so that you do get that wow size factor.
Mm.
But New Plymouth, yeah, based on what it is, yeah, I'm hoping for a story mazy to give the illusion of more space, 20 to 24 suits. I mean, the fact that it's Gen 8 is, just fucking
Oh,
amazing.
it's so good.
And really, hopefully, um, management that when you guys do make your sojourns there, um, is actually willing to, you know, have a gander, have a listen to to you guys.
Mm.
I mean, that's really like of anything. Like if you if you make me pick one thing that I want this facility to have, it's receptive management. Like everything else can be adjusted for. Like okay, if it turns out to be it's a 4,000 square foot arena that's more open than closed in. Yeah, okay. I mean that's not great, but you can work with that. You can't do anything if management there is immediately closed off to the idea of having competitive play. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like Heathen said in the chat, and like we've said many times, we're not their immediate target audience. We're not the general
no,
public.
no, for sure, no.
And so if you can make it look amazing with lights and paint and um, just general theming of a place, the general public don't give a shit about like how it like plays from a competitive standpoint. And in that same vein, if you have like if they open management is a good thing, assuming that they are there to build a member base. Because if they're not, if they're there, if it's purely value add service, then I suppose they don't really care so much. Like if it gets used, awesome. I suppose like if you're investing in Gen 8 though, you kind of want people to play it, because it's not
Well,
a cheap
yeah,
system.
it's definitely not a cheap system, but you also it's if the thing that you hope for is that even though advanced play isn't the target, and it's never the target. I
Mm.
mean, and I think everybody. I mean, certainly the three of us understand that. Certainly everybody that is wasting their lives watching us right now knows that. Um, I
Thanks,
love
by the
everybody
way.
in chat. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, you you hope that they're open minded enough to listen to the math on, hey, you know if you're able to do this, and you've got 10 or 15 people that are coming every week on a night that is not going to give you any business, and that, hey, this 10 to 15 people a week is going to give you 20-25 bucks a week each. So there's there's this extra between 200 and $400 depending on how many people are there, that's just in utilization fees, and then all the ancillary stuff that comes on top of that.
Yeah.
That's that can be value. And Heathen just made a comment in chat. 2 to 300 a week for members versus thousands for general public. Who's making the money? Yes, Heathen. I yes.
We're saying in addition to, not in
Yeah.
place of. Like your members basically give you money at times when you're otherwise not going to be busy or not going to be open in a lot of cases when people are setting aside time for member nights and whatnot. Because at
Yeah.
least
So
for like Sacramento for years, a lot of times wouldn't be open on sometimes
Mm,
Monday or Tuesday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday during the off season and stuff like that. But hey, if people want to come in and give you a couple $100 on one of those off nights and you pretty much don't have to staff it, that can, I'm not gonna say it's gonna change your life, but it can pad your margin a little bit, or at least give you a little bit of cushion for other operating expenses during the week.
yeah, yeah. If it pays some of your power bill, or whatever, or like pays for a staff member, or yeah, just
Yeah,
something like something is usually better than nothing, assuming that there's there's no toxicity, or yeah, you could get rid of any toxicity that kind of floats around some scenes.
well,
but that's why the
and
dialogue I think is important because good management and good ownership can really make
Yeah,
the difference in that regard. They can help kind of set the tone if they're a
blase
willing
or
to, yeah, if they're willing to listen to the member base, or better yet, if they're participating
mm,
with member base and they're interested in the games, like that kind of gives them input on saying, here's the kind of community we want to establish. We want it to be welcoming. We don't want all this toxicity. Versus sometimes I feel like management can be receptive at first, but then once the members move in, if there's no oversight of it,
yeah,
that's sometimes when you get in those dicey situations and people say, "Oh, well, these other people came in, they're just jerks, and they treat the staff with a sense of entitlement, and they pick on the gen public and all that kind of stuff." But if you start the dialogue early and you approach the members in a way that says, "Hey, we want to make things comfortable for you, as long as you're helping us build the business," then it can be a good symbiotic relationship.
for sure.
yeah,
Um,
and the whole, I mean, the whole management of member base in order to maximize the amount of money that you're pulling out of them without them necessarily realizing you're
mm,
maximizing the amount of money that you're pulling out of them. I mean, that is definitely a it's an art, because I mean, yeah, I mean, advanced players, we're a pain in the ass. We are a huge, huge pain in the ass. There's no arguing about that whatsoever. We
On
can be
occasion, we can also be helpful.
well, and stop fucking jumping ahead of me, asshole. Um, but yes, we are. We're also we will be the first people to notice. Hey, the equipment's not doing not up to snuff. Oh, hey, we noticed this in the arena. There's something not right, um, that needs to be fixed and all that. So yeah, it's definitely a what the fuck are you
we're
doing?
listening.
Sorry, wrong tube on my hydrate bot. Just didn't want to cough into the mic. But yes, all good
Okay,
points.
fair enough. So yeah, it is definitely a challenge, and I mean really the biggest challenge with New Plymouth that you guys are going to run into, because you are it's like, oh hey, we're just going to drop in on a road trip, and like, hey, we're going to play some lasers, is you know the not being, oh hey, we know exactly what's going to work to the management there,
Yeah,
because let's face it, because of the length of time that some of us have been doing this, and because of the amount of both good and bad we've seen over that length of time, um, it can be sometimes difficult to um, meter things inappropriately.
well, so like I make a point of like for any interactions that I personally have with management or ownership at a site that I'm going to, um, assuming that like it's something that I'm organizing or helping to organize, um, yeah, I will try and have a conversation, at least a conversation with management to brief them about, who we are, what we do, our expectations, our understanding of like not overstepping our bounds, and then I try and make that, you know, clear to the people that are attending as well, because like there is a tendency for people to get real comfortable around being behind the counter or fucking around with the computer or whatever, and the last thing I want is, you know, as a business owner, somebody coming in, making themselves at home and touching all your shit without, you know, really much permission, and then, you know, potentially breaking something or changing a setting without telling you. It kind of happened at Game Over. There was like an issue with the bases not registering shots, and so we rebooted the PC, and they hadn't updated their license for like 2 weeks or something, and it locked us out of the system.
Oops.
And it was just like, fuck, like that's the last thing we want, is come into somebody else's house and make ourselves like, you
Look
know,
like dicks.
yeah, like it reflects poorly on us as a community. And
I mean, frankly, that was a nice reminder for them to update their license. They didn't know you a thank you on that one.
they were like, motherfuckers, we were at like 500 days. Yeah, like if you can set boundaries, it limits the poor interactions that they have with the regulars, which, you know, coming from a site where ownership hated the regulars to what we have now.
Dear God, did he hate us?
Oh, he hated us. Like, and it was such a shame too. But he owned Laser Force at a time where you didn't have to, like, try.
Be nice.
Yeah, you didn't have to try. You just got business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's all on how you conduct yourself as a Laser Force professional. You've changed a couple of settings at Botany, but always with staff behind you at all times. Yeah, again, like.
Like the staff knows anything about what's going on either.
Yeah, well, I'm just changing the downtime and blah blah blah. And they're like,
Okay, it sounds good.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm always aware that it's somebody else's stuff. And like my mum taught me not to go and fuck with other people's shit, otherwise you get one of these. Yeah. So if when we eventually do a road trip and we head down, I will be in contact with ownership to say, hey, look, you know, we're coming down, we play this game all the time, we're part of the competitive scene, we don't want to come in and fuck with your shit, but we do want to play special games, blah blah blah, cause fuck suit music's the best. Happy birthday.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's Happy Birthday by Laser Force. Yeah.
We have to pay royalties for that one.
That's right. There were some like good notes in chat, but seemingly we've breezed right past those. Shawnee did say we need to send this to the new arena that's opening. Maybe. They were like, ugh, we certainly don't want to be associated with those people. And I'll be like, what do you mean those people? And it'll be off to a great
You mean
start.
you people?
Yeah. Nothing better than Shadows with your suit set to high volume techno. The only thing better than that compy is Shadows in the Dark with your suit set to high volume techno. And then we'll run this shit off Sonar. It'd be awesome. You thought about installing Rick Astley as the suit music? That'd be awesome. Never gonna double tap. Boom! There's another track to add to the Resupply musical. Yeah. So, what do you guys? I mean, I think we talked about that. We're going to finally go into the part where we're going to talk about the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, shit. We're gonna have to turn this into a 2-part episode, depending on how much we want to talk about now.
Well, we got a little while. We got at least
we got time.
50 minutes. I got nowhere to be.
Really good.
There's a skateboarding competition down the road. Actually, we were gonna go check that out. Scotty Brewer, rest in peace.
Sounds dope.
Yeah, it would have been cool. But yeah, what do you guys? What big old pile of money? What would you do?
Well, first I'd roll around in it.
Yep, me too. Yep.
Second of all, actually, man, the edge of COVID, man,
Well,
just
we'll be
lost its
fine.
appeal. Yeah.
How many bitcoins you got? Can I roll around in them?
I got ones and zeros all over me.
um, yeah. What would you guys? What do you look for in a maze, or what would you do if you had creative control over putting a maze together?
Like, I try to think of what are the things that I really like about different arenas that I've played, because obviously no arena is absolutely perfect,
Hmm.
but I'm like, okay, what are some things that I really enjoy about specific places? And thinking about, like, okay, most recently we played St. George. One thing that I really really love about their maze is that there are different ways that you can do things. Like, no two games play exactly the same. Like, there isn't a standard kind of operation for, if you're on red you mostly do this, if you're on green you mostly do this. Like, it's easy for
Interesting.
either side to take one of the two kind of opposing corners essentially, and it's like sometimes red will go to yellow and green will go to blue and they will barely see each other.
Hmm.
Other times both teams might want to take the same location and it's a super crazy fight at the start. In other
Hmm.
cases you might kind of split off and you have different things happen. So I really like that element, just of the kind of dynamism and the unpredictability of, like, you can go to different spots and there's no kind of just standard operating procedure. Like, Sack mostly played, it was okay, at the start red goes and does this, green goes and does that, and the middle and end can be more dynamic, but
Hmm.
there isn't a lot of kind of guesswork at the start as to what people are probably going to do with minor variations.
Yeah,
So I'd like that. That would be cool.
yeah,
Dan, what are you gonna say?
you could have some, like, weird people trying shit occasionally randomly
Yeah.
in Sacramento, but if you tried the weird shit and people cottoned on to it real quick, you were fucked. Pretty much
Kind of, yeah.
how.
Always,
Now, if
always
you
try
did
the
the
weird
weird,
shit, kids.
always try the weird shit.
Always try the
Um,
weird shit.
but if you managed to do the weird shit and they didn't cotton on to it quickly, I mean, the weird shit could sometimes work. But man, if you tried it and it was unsuccessful, you were in for a very quick game. Um,
That's the
but
sort
yeah,
of like train rushing at the start, that kind of stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah. So okay, so I like that. So I think in order to have that, you need to have kind of an arena setup that lends itself to teams can do different stuff off of the break from the get go, and that there are different options and places you can go to. Or if I think about a field like Brisbane, what's cool about Brisbane? I mean, one is just size, the sheer scope of it is cool, and the different options you have for, like, getting around to different places. That there are four ramps,
Yeah.
that there are multiple bridges that go to different places. There are different kinds of options as to where you want to set your attacks up and things like that. One thing I think relatively few arenas have done is to have, like, really more than two fully viable resupply areas. So I would love if I had the ability and felt confident enough to actually set it up to, like, have an arena that legitimately had three or four or more than that kind of legitimate resupply areas, that it's like, yeah, these are areas where you could set up a kind of team defense and still be able to move in and out and those kinds of things. So I think that would be cool. I think something really large would be fun. I am still kind of partial to two floor arenas, so I would probably opt for that if I had just the ability
um,
to make whatever I wanted and that kind
well,
of thing.
but
So
but
those are the sorts of things I guess I look for.
yeah, with the two-story thing though, like the challenge there, and it's definitely something that I've noticed as a thing. No matter what two-story maze I've been in, Auckland may be the least so because of how it's set up. It's like, yeah, for the most part, in in a two-story maze, like, you end up playing like 80% of the game on the
Upstairs.
second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and so it would be, yeah, nice from a design standpoint. And again, this goes back to the having unlimited funds and you can design however the fuck you want.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so you're thinking about that there being, you know, essentially at least there really needs to be at least 4 solid primary resupply areas, because if there's only 3 and you get kicked, they know where the fuck you're going. So you need at least 4 solid primary spots, and then probably at least another 3 or 4 good secondaries where, you know, you get kicked, you can do quick kicks and come back. That's ideal. But then having the arena designed so that being kicked off the high ground isn't necessarily a instantaneous defeat, because, you know, let's face it, in Sacramento, even though there was a decent amount of cover from high low, if you got pushed off, by and large, you probably were not going to.
It makes the
recover.
game harder.
Yeah.
So I mean, knowing that's going to be a thing. I mean, you're never going to have a perfectly split upstairs downstairs being able to, you know, play them both equally. Upstairs will always have an intrinsic advantage because, you know, I have the high ground. But if you've got enough, you know, if you can design it in such a way so that there's enough cover high to low, so that being pushed down, you know, actually, you know, people are forced to go and find you, as opposed to, well, we just can just stay the fuck up here and continually just snipe the shit out of you and bleh. You know, that would be ideal as well. So okay, so we're up to two-story arena, 4 primary resupply points at different places in the arena, and at least 3 to 4 secondary kick points. We are looking at a relatively large maze at this point.
That's like Syracuse twice.
Yeah. Well, kind of like not entirely using Brisbane as a template, but kind of imagining what Brisbane is like. One thing I kind of visualized was the idea of like having almost a kind of triangular structure where you have kind of 3 towers upstairs that all feed into a central tower. So would technically be like 4 platforms upstairs. Like 3 of them all have a bridge to the center, but then each of like the 3 kind of like side towers, all of them have at least 1 ramp going to them as well. So there's always like 2 ways into a tower, and there are multiple ramps going upstairs. So that way, like you have this kind of central junction where there can be a lot of fighting, but then you also have kind of these side areas that are like sneak points or resupply areas or things like that.
Tunnels.
No.
Yeah.
Oh
Get some
no.
tunnels.
Okay, yeah.
Tunnels.
That is a fantastic joke, Stallion. Obi-Wan Thanobi. I have the high ground.
I mean,
oh, that's so
wrong.
good. So I'm quite partial, and this is probably because of, you know, bias, but I'm quite partial more to mazy arenas than I am to open arenas, and yeah, like that's definitely because that's how our home maze is. I think like from a resupply perspective, you guys have both said, you know, we want, you know, several resupply points. I would prefer to only have the 2, and only have them have 2 major ones with a couple of, you know, like small bug out areas that you can go to. But like have them multi-entry resup points, because we used to have back in the day 2 areas set up in our maze that were 1 way in, 1 way out, and you would basically be just trying to attack these 2 points the whole time. There was only 1 way into a resupply, and that's how you attacked. So there was no variance in the attack until we started training for Ballarat after stupid totem pole incidents. And
Yeah, always to be 2 ways in to avoid the
avoid
totem
that.
pole.
Yeah,
It's just the anti-totem pole countermeasure.
You're right, Goldfish. Stallion providing that good quality content. I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't run a Laser Force podcast at this point. Like, put us out of business. But yeah, like I quite like having resupply areas that take teamwork and multiple people watching multiple entries to defend, because I think it makes the game more challenging, and really you have to have a decent skill set in order to play Space Marines in those type of arenas, rather than I can stand against this wall, point at one area, and my reaction time will determine whether or not somebody gets in.
Well, and the thought process with having 3-4 primary resupply points isn't necessarily that they're one way in, one way out type resupply points. It's
I was
just
managing
that,
virtually every place has 2 ways
Yeah.
in or out.
yeah, because there are definitely times where it's like the one way in, one way out thing, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's just going to be unavoidable with how support walls have to be and shit like that.
Yeah.
But if you can
Stupid
if you can
structurally
minimize
sound
buildings.
buildings.
If you can minimize the one way in, one way out, and force the multiple entries into resupply spots, and force the skill level basically, I would agree with that.
Yeah, exactly right. Dan's just gotta like shimmy some stuff around in the background, so just you can see
a little hand coming in and stealing some stuff out of frame.
Yes. So, I'm a big fan of the maze. I've made some bullet point notes here. From not necessarily a maze perspective, but from a laser tag arena perspective, I really would love. I would put multiple cameras in the arena and have them connected, so from a visual standpoint. And we got 5, I think, IR cameras that like feed to the foyer. I would set them up. I would set them up for competitive play, because generally, if you're a competitive player, you have a good idea of where most of the action funnels into an arena, and so you can set up the cameras to capture multiple angles of attacking those resupply points. That's something I think that I would love to put into an arena if I had control over it, and stream that shit.
If you can, if you can get the quantity of cameras and the quality of cameras and have the bandwidth to actually support the cameras, like that's one of the things that has historically held back. I mean, aside from the fact that laser tag is played in dark arenas and trying to get the lighting right so that cameras actually pick shit up correctly. I mean, besides those obvious hurdles, really one of the biggest technical hurdles to streaming tag has been the actual physical internet connection to the tag site itself. I mean, if you've got 10 cameras that are all trying to run HD streams at the same time, like
that's a lot of output.
You'd better have basically a gig circuit up down fiber, and
which Auckland is heading towards.
So we also have a server in the basement of this new facility as well. Fortunately, since we have unlimited money, that's the kind of thing that we can do.
That's exactly right. That'd be really awesome. I'd whip a game screen in the maze as a throwback to the Oakley Arena.
And the Brisbane Arena.
And the Brisbane Arena, that's right. I love that shit. Having a big old computer monitor sitting behind a cage, you'd be like, run past. Oh yeah, that's a decent score. Cool. No, I wouldn't have that. It'd be great though. 100% with a lot of underlines and bolding. Definitely no stairs.
Yeah, no stairs and no submarine doors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
neither of those should even be considerations. Like,
What's that? Trip hazard in the dark arena? Done. Let's do it.
Yep.
What
And
could
no
go
grates
wrong?
either.
Yeah. Fucking yeah. Yeah, because if you bail, it's like a cheese grater.
Well, actually, my biggest thing with the grades, like I was looking at them, like the thing that I'm always afraid of is like I'm gonna bail and go like hand first into them, and I'm gonna end up breaking fingers because the
Yeah.
grades are like just that wide to like get caught and do bad things to
You
your
got like
hands.
mangled hands.
It's like I need
How do I
my
shoot
hand.
lasers now?
No.
No ramps changing their gradient mid ramp. Like it's amazing how many times Compy, like you can have a ramp that goes like down, flat, down, and like that flat will catch so many people out. It's great.
Yeah.
If you're running down a ramp and it goes flat straight away, boom, later ACL. Elevator
Yeah,
will
we-
make the maze too accessible. I mean, oh, it's as an RT2 accessible. I mean, we could do. We'll put one of those glass elevators. You could stand in there and shoot people from the elevator as you go up and down it.
I'm down.
That'd
I'm
be
down.
awesome.
That'll all be in the central platform.
Oh, you put your resupply in there. That'd be dope.
But yeah, ramps that change gradient. So back in Sacramento, the original red ramp did that, and I remember the original owner saying like within like the first like week or two of them actually being open, like literally somebody was sprinting down the ramp, like mishit it, and ACL go pop. They had to call call ambulance and everything. It was some Gen Pub game, and it's just like, yeah, ACL go pop. Ugh,
Yeah.
no.
Willy
No.
Wonka elevator. Yes, please.
Was that in the middle where you could shoot the gargoyle? I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
that was the section, and it was I can't remember if she said it was the step from the higher section to the middle section, or if it was the middle section to the next down section where it hit and just was all bad. But it was all bad.
Glader said
Okay.
someone split their
Everything.
shin on the back ramp at Brisbane hitting the flat point.
Oh,
As in
Oh.
like they impact and then the shin like
yeah, no.
and then Stryker came over and gave them a concussion. Yeah.
But first, DK tripped on air.
Oh, they're coming in! Kabadoosh! Love it so much.
Thanks for that, by the way,
No,
Wayne.
Yeah. No stairs. Game screens. Yes or game screens? Yes or no? I think that's a no.
No. No.
Yeah, it's, you know.
I say we take off and
fucking
nuke the
Jesus.
entire site from orbit.
Someone dropped another nuke.
That was Italian.
Oh, it's so
but-
loud. Oh my god.
So the game screens thing, in the olden times, honestly, I think was more of a cool thing. Now that everybody's got their got their fucking score on the back of their
You got all
gun,
your shit on the back of your gun.
yeah, you don't need the thing. You don't need the screen inside or score screen inside the maze. And Shawnee wants a ball pit.
What a genius. That's genius. Oh my goodness.
No.
I would hide in
No.
there and do like Predator style, like as you rise out of the mud. Oh.
That's another thing I think, like, COVID has shut the lid on for all time. Like, ball pits as just, like, the biggest germ factories in
Why
the
is it
world.
wet in here? Oh, I don't want to think about it. I just want to leave. Wash my hands. That is actually one of my first memories of being in a ball pit, because we got them in the 90s, I think, in Palmerston North when I still lived down there. McDonald's was like a new Macca's, and they had a ball pit, and I was like, this is dope. And then, like, in the ball pit, sweet as, and then, like, you realize that your forearm is now completely wet, and you're like, what is that? Actually, I don't want to know. I just want to leave. Golf buggy raceway in the middle. Not a bad idea. Yep. I always thought that in Ballarat they should have combined the laser tag with the go-karts so you could drive by people. That'd be awesome.
Or at least like have a section where you can like see it. There should be like a highway overpass where it's like you just see like the go-karts whiz underneath it.
Yes, exactly right. Someone should put a mini golf in the laser tag.
That's what we need, golf balls to trip over. That's even better than stairs.
I had a thought before. You put like a big circle skate rink around the outside of a laser tag, and so if you want, you could go from roller skating to laser tag, and that shit reminds me of like rollerball. I would love that. That'd be awesome.
Okay, you guys are like, oh, I'd hate to get injured on stairs, and then you're like, hey, let's throw roller skates into the idea.
Let's roller skate in the dark.
So popping back to, over to chat, Stallion, made the comment that any ideal arena should have a decent spectator area.
Yeah.
Which he then made the comment. So Brisbane. So one of the many things that Brisbane does well is that whole that whole spectating thing. I mean, that is one of those things that if you can manage having some type of observation deck where people can actually watch a game in progress or something like that, that actually is something that is kind of it's an oft underrated and overlooked part of the experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's often overlooked because actually having the space to do it sometimes can be a little tricky.
Space Marines on ice.
No.
Yeah.
No. Ice skating, Space Marines, golf. No, we're not. No, that is no. We're just not. No.
So Auckland were actually talking about it, putting in a spectator area. So for those of you who have played in Auckland, they reclaimed part of the maze. They reclaimed the corner that the spider was above, that whole back corner smoke gene area. They reclaimed all of that and turned it into a party room. And they were talking about at one point putting an observation deck above that area. But whilst it would probably be the best place to put something like that in that arena, nothing ever happens around that area. So you'd be looking at nothing. So maybe it wouldn't work out so well there. But yeah, like the Brisbane observation deck was awesome. Like when it was like the full obs deck, it was wicked. And then they reclaimed most of that as arena space, which I think was a good idea. But they still have spectator areas in that corner.
Yeah, I do remember the first time I went to Brisbane and was able to go up into that space, and I mean it was definitely a very cool moment. It's like, oh, okay, wow, I can actually see things and watch gameplay and do all that stuff. So yeah, in a perfect world, for sure, that is definitely something that you want.
Yeah.
The one in which we won the lotto and made our own laser tag place. Yeah.
Exactly. But again, I mean the challenge with available space and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing.
What else?
Well, see, I'm imagining just, since I'm going to obviously have a 2-floor arcade in the lobby also, that you use that secondary space and you just link that off of the arcade. So you can just basically walk like across one whole side of the arena. You just put up some of that like 2-way mirror stuff.
Yeah. Because everyone loves a good mirror in the Laser Force arena.
No. It's got to be like somehow it's got to be visible from one side, but then non-reflective on the other. I'm sure we have the technology for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tints No, I don't think it's gonna work. So I actually had like from a maze perspective, I would like to have some decent sniper holes, but with the ability to block them up easily.
Right.
Either being like like an airplane window type shutter that you can close, or like you've got like a little remote control that you can bloop bloop and it'll like or whatever.
See, I don't mind windows if they're at like a logical height, like kind of at eye level, that kind of thing. It's the ones that are like fucking down here that I'm just like, why? Just stop. Don't do that.
You pay such good money to watch Space Marines on ice. Me too.
Well, I
I'd
can
be
honestly
very
say I've gotten a
concerned.
concussion both ways in my lifetime, but usually not at the same time.
Oh, you can tick that one off. Heathen said bouncing shots off the fire hose at Botany. I'm not sure I would include that in my own maze if I had a choice. Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of an oversight. I might have to scuff that up a little bit. Did you guys have any other thoughts about what you would include, or even chat? Like if you want to throw out some like legit things.
Well, I think I saw. If I'd have to scroll back up, I think ComGeek said something about CTF. Let's see. Yeah, bases on the back of the go karts for CTF.
Fuck yes.
Choose an insane driver to the car to steal your flag. But he does raise a good point, though. I feel like about
Mario Kart Double Dash.
about CTF and like capture the flag. Like I would like to be able to position bases and gens appropriately to make CTF like a fun, interesting, competitive game. Because although I love the SAC arena, that was one thing we never really got down, was having like a proper setup for capture the flag. Like it really didn't work that well in our field, and I've seen some fields that I didn't necessarily enjoy for Space Marines that actually did play pretty well for capture the flag, like Chula Vista, for instance. I thought worked pretty well in that regard. So
I have no memory.
Yeah, you wouldn't, from what I understand of that
kids.
week.
Yeah, damn shrooms. Oh no, wait, that was different.
That was a different time. Shrooms made me play awesome, just FYI.
In your own mind, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I believe that in any way, shape, or form.
Look,
it's just like Venom plays well drunk.
And we can 100% say that is entirely fucking false. Oh my fucking god.
So we've had some arena changes. Specific in this specific example, we've changed where the bases are in the arena, and we haven't actually played capture the flag with those new changes. And now that you mention it, I'd actually be kind of keen to see what the impact has had, because prior to the bases moving, you could hit them from very far away from under the base, and we actually implemented a rule: you had to be standing directly underneath the base to capture it. And so I think now with them being sort of tucked behind walls and stuff, it would make it a little bit better. Yeah, you would actually maybe red base is still shootable from a distance, so maybe not. But yeah.
Well, and to Heathen's point in chat, use vests as bases. I mean, we did that a few times in Auckland while I was there. I remember we did 4-team CTF with like bases with vests as bases in each corner, and that was actually pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, so there are these things that you can do with suits, but maybe you get beacons that are specific flags for things, which is something that Brisbane used to do for their CTF stuff as well. They had a target that was specifically a flag in the bilge and a target that was specifically a flag in the hull. It's like, and that was your CTF run. So something specific like that, like what you don't necessarily place those immediately. You kind of figure out how the arena plays and how to balance it. But that would definitely be something in a perfect world where you'd have specific flags.
That's interesting. Compy said beacons in base mode replacing all bases too. So maybe then the general public will realize what they are and what they are and can have instructions on them. It's not a bad idea. I mean, you know, the amount of times I've seen the general public, you know, watch a briefing video and it quite clearly says make sure you get the bases, and then like nobody gets a base because they don't know what they're looking for. It's not a bad idea to utilize the beacons for that kind of use. It's kind of cool.
Utilize the new technology to utilize the new technology to improve the overall general public experience, so they come back and spend more money with you.
Well, I feel like that's kind of the direction that a lot of the Gen 8 setups are moving, though, is putting more emphasis on, at least for the sites that are buying the beacons, is to use them for multiple purposes, because you can set them just to be set to a base mode versus the power up mode and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more customizability than there used to be for that kind of thing. So take advantage of it. So yeah, in my hypothetical arena, give me a shit ton of beacons that I can change and play and play around with.
I mean, I would say that eventually the beacons will replace the bases, right? Sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I think that's the direction that we're moving.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, so you can make them look however you want them to look. Yeah. One thing that's just come to mind, which Auckland kind of did, and I would love to do something like it but better, is removable or changeable walls. It's such a rad way to keep your maze dynamic, and like for people that want to come back on a semi-regular basis, it's always new for them. But I think having them so that they're a little easier to change, because the ones at Auckland take like 4 people to actually change them out.
One of the QZARs in Sacramento actually had the basically the middle third of their maze was changeable, and it was basically swinging walls.
Cool.
And they basically like swing and they would hook on to like the next post type thing.
So all the walls like put the keys in a bowl and then like, you know, shuffle them up and that
exactly,
yeah, awesome. Shock QZAR. Way to be progressive.
So you know, so you could actually, you know, shift that, and if I remember right, it was essentially kind of like a hexagonal design, and so, you know, you just pull walls in different places, and you could completely reconfigure the middle of their maze to, you know, make that different. I mean, obviously their attacking thirds were each static, but I mean, yeah, having the ability to relatively easily change the flow of a maze to encourage the repeat play is, yeah, that would definitely be on the list of things to do for sure.
Yeah, Al brought up a really good point. You want them hard to change because you don't want some peanut changing the walls during a game. Yeah. Or yeah, as Shawnee said, like somebody runs into it and it falls down. That's a good way to get a lawsuit. But something like in a perfect world, again, big pile of money, my walls would like pop out of the ground, so I could just be like bloop bloop, and then it'd be awesome. I want a blooper, just to bloop things in my maze, and it'll change them. Some might say
I
I'm
just
a giant blooper.
bloop on myself.
Yeah. What you do is you get your tape recorder. Tasers built into the suits for those at really late nights. Yep. Why not, Compy? Why not? Who doesn't love a little bit of electric shock therapy?
No, there are definitely certain customers at certain times where having a taser in the suit would be
people are, I gotta say, people are fairly irresponsible with the flashlight on the phaser. So I would hate to see those people with a taser. They're like, oh, is it just blinding you? Oh, cool. Yeah, so like running around and some little kid's just like, fucking what the shit? I remember
It's like the episode of The Simpsons, they're all hooked into the chairs and they all start shocking each other.
I do remember people talking about it back in the days, building like rumble packs into the suits so you could, know when you got shot.
I mean, they have that now. That's part of Gen 8. Like the part of your suit that gets shot is supposed to vibrate slightly, if I'm not mistaken. Like I feel like there's a differentiation between the chest and the back.
I mean, we must have that shit turned off. I don't recall that being a thing. Somebody want to?
I don't know if it's on the shoulders, but
I feel that's like again a lawsuit waiting to happen. It's the
I mean,
equivalent.
It's not severe,
Yeah.
but I feel like that was an observation I made the last couple times I played with the Gen 8 is that there is it's very slight. It's a very slight vibration when you get deactivated, and
Right.
I thought it was specific to either the chest or the back, depending where you get hit. But I could be way off base on this, and I was just feeling my own happy internal vibrations from playing laser tag again. Who knows? It's all just a placebo. I don't know.
Compy said, while we're changing the packs, 3 color lasers in the phasers, having the laser color change to match the team color. Well, with Gen 8, obviously there's like, 8 or 9 different colors. So it might be a little difficult to have that many different colored lasers. I don't know how lasers work. I can't imagine that you just shine it through different colored plastic and it changes the color.
No,
No.
There's a whole thing there where, I mean, I know at least historically the green lasers were really expensive.
They're much more expensive.
To red.
And blue are even more expensive.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do that,
the very quick physics explanation for that is anything that's more toward blue is shorter wavelengths, is more high energy, is harder to produce.
Yeah. Quote, I don't know how lasers work. G&D 2020. Speaking of things going on t-shirts. But yeah, Stalker couldn't handle that. The man is so sweaty, he'd be getting inadvertent shocks all the time. I have developed a small amount of OCD behavior in that I can't open metal door handles straight away. And it's become a
thing.
Disability, if you will, for me in my everyday life, because I have to tap on a door handle like 5 times before I can actually open it.
Just embrace the shock, bro.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it with all my fucking being is being electrocuted. I fucking hate it.
I'm pretty sure I get it like every single time I have to enter the code to get into my condo complex. The keypad, it shocks me virtually every time.
I would move. I'd burn the house down and move.
I've just learned to embrace it. Between that and my years working at laser tag, I've had so many electric shocks in my lifetime that it just doesn't faze me anymore.
And that one's sort of in the same boat. And I've gone the other way. Got to always do the weenus check before touching metal. I don't want to touch my weenus to no metal and get electrocuted. Thank you very much.
That is one area you need to be careful with.
Yeah, that seems like a terrible idea.
I have a sensitive weenus, alright? Oh, fucking, I hate being electrocuted. So yeah, like tasers, nah, bro. Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
I don't know. Well, there's so much stuff that goes into like theming and decor and all that, but that's very secondary to what we're talking about. We're talking about like if you could make like a competitive site specifically.
Oh, you could go either way, man. Like this is your arena. This is your show, man.
Well, one thing you had mentioned with the QZR setup about how like the middle was kind of like hexagonal. That's what made it customizable. Is use stuff like geometry to your advantage because hexagons are the bestagons because you can configure them in virtually any way possible. So the more you can utilize like a hexagonal design, because then it's much easier to flip walls around, it's much easier to like stack things together versus only operating in like rectangular space, then go for it.
So I have my lights that currently light orb, my face, and the very fancy special effects that you see on the show, all of those are hexagons. And they are indeed the bestagon. Stallion, you're a good idea machine. Every arena needs a mascot. Every single one needs a mascot.
Yeah, we need some Reggies.
Fucking, you need every single one needs a Reggie, or Reggie's cousin. I tell you what I could do without is warbots, and also the new radiation storms that they have.
Give me that shit for Gen Pub, but I don't need that for.
It's so
You obviously don't need that for. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we don't for Space Marines, but yeah, I still hate fucking radiation storms. It drive me nuts.
Fair.
Anything else?
I will say on the radiation storms part, I think the way that the Santa Rosa site, which I don't think either. Then you never played at the Santa Rosa site, did you?
I did. Yeah.
You did one? Okay. Yeah.
Once, yeah.
I think they had it probably in one of the better locations. It was in essentially like their central platform, so it like would periodically close off like the central part of the maze. You'd have to kind of like walk around it to get past and all that. Like I thought that was actually a pretty good use of the radiation storm kind of ability. And I think one of the sites in Portland also functioned like that, if I remember correctly from having played it all of one time. But I think that can be cool. It also depends on how you tie it into like your theming and stuff like that. Like if it has a coherent, I guess, narrative behind it, I think that's what's cool. That's one of the things I thought was really cool about the Sack Maze when I first played it in 1997 was everything felt like it was themed and had this kind of appropriate story that it was telling as you would go through the maze, where it had like this whole, kind of castle Princess Bride mystique about it. And it was like, oh yeah, every place has a very particular kind of feel to it. The theming works. Like there are cool and interesting features that are unique to this maze. So
and he did making the comment, no public players get how radiation storm works. Yeah, I would actually agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
why am I dying?
There's so much.
Maybe they're just too long. Like they shouldn't go on for more than like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Or like,
I don't know. I feel like the radiation storm it's one of those things where it's a good idea in theory.
Yeah.
But I think the practical application thereof when you have new people playing, which in a perfect world you do have new people playing all the freaking time because birthday parties and all that. I feel like the practical application leaves a little bit to be desired. It's I don't necessarily object to it being a thing that can be an option, but I think it's one of those things that for your standard general public game, it's a little much. Like there's already so much going on that having people just randomly dying because of radiation storm. People are already going to randomly die just from being shot from places they don't know where the fuck it's coming from.
Yeah. Or have it level dependent. Like anyone under 3 doesn't get killed by radiation.
That's actually kind of an interesting idea of having radiation storms that specifically affect like the higher level players.
Yeah, because they probably gonna understand what's actually happening. Because people run around, they're like, I don't understand why I keep dying. It's a sad thing. It is a sad thing. Comp Geek said Crown has a radiation generator in the middle of the arena that entirely separates the arena into 2. You can't get past it without being deactivated. It's near a beacon that can activate it, so you can walk through and then activate it to close the door behind you. That's pretty cool. Or lower players only go down once. Yeah, something like that. We played a Frantic on Tuesday. And the radiation storm was activated.
Bam, 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 bam.
It was brutal. It was so brutal. And also amazing. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I think
it's not 3 Runcheon. It's 15,000.
I think if you have a very clear themed area that is like a reactor or something, that people, if they're in that area and they hear warning radiation storm activated or warning radiation leak detected or whatever, and that whole area like, you know, lights up or whatever, then people kind of understand, all right, well, if I went in there, I died, don't go in that area. Or something, because like we have a rough idea in Auckland where you can and can't be during a radiation storm, but it's not clearly marked out. So yeah, that would be kind of cool as well.
That's fair.
Right. Unless you guys have anything else, we could probably wrap things up. I think we've like
Yeah.
talked
So we'll
about-
save. If we come up with other stuff, we can do that for a whole other show. We don't
Yeah.
want to blow all our good ideas now.
Yeah, all of our original good ideas.
No one in any way, shape, or form contributed.
That we all equally contributed to.
Nothing came from the community whatsoever.
Yeah.
We don't take community input.
If you guys
All
want
this is
to
original.
periodically, like, if you have any good ideas, feel free to like bring them up with us, because we'll happily talk about them. But you know, like, we just want to get more community engagement. You guys are really dropping the ball.
I think you guys need to learn something about the phrase "you catch more flies with honey."
But no, that you say that then there's literally a channel on the Discord for stream ideas. Ah, damn it! I see you've fallen for our trap. No, thanks again, Stallion. Like, keep those good ideas for content coming through, because we will happily talk about them on the show. We have this week coming up. We are back for D&D tomorrow, which I'm actually looking forward to. Again, that kind of contributed
Very
to my
excited.
shitty feeling over the last couple of weeks, and you guys assured me that some good D&D was had. I get the theory behind it. I still felt like an asshole.
Well, just because you got your friend robbed and thrown in jail.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. I can't wait to kill. I mean, just to have a good time with everybody.
If you,
The DM is already smiling. You are
Too
so
late.
fucked.
You are so fucked. TPK incoming.
Yeah, oh man, I wouldn't be surprised. It almost happened last week. Korg is going to need new armor again. Korg's going to need new friends. I think that's what Korg needs. If you're unaware of what we're talking about, come hang out with us tomorrow around about the same time. It is the same time as we do the resupply. D&D tomorrow. We'll do a recap at the start, so even if you pop in and get the recap and then leave after, that's fine too.
You'll figure it out.
Apparently,
You'll get it from context. It's fine.
Tuesday, all going well. We have a bit of a lull at the moment with stuff on Laser Force Live. We'll try and kick some stuff off again. I can't remember. I didn't run it on Tuesday. It's been off and on the last couple of weeks. We'll see what happens this week. I'll see if I can get everything running on my laptop again. So keep an eye out for Laser Force Live on Tuesday. Thunderdome Thursday is back next week, and hopefully by then there's no issues with any of the content that we run. My face is coming through crystal clear today. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's good. I'm not sure.
Ish. It's good-ish.
When are we going to do the rewatchables of Die Hard? I don't know if we'll do a rewatchables, but I am keen to do a watch party of Die Hard, because I fucking love Die Hard. I love it. All
movie.
4 of them I love. I love all 4 Die Hard films, and they only made 4. I'm a big fan of Die Hard 4, actually, because it's got Kevin Smith in it, and I'm a massive Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah. So honestly, I actually enjoyed 5.
All right, that'll do us for this week.
Which was 5, so
5 was just. Maybe I need to give it another hoon, but I don't think I made it through the whole film. Couldn't do it. So yeah, we'll be back for Thunderdome Thursday. Unsure what we're going to play yet. Perhaps I will actually do another poll this week. We have a bunch of games that we could play, or we could go back to the well and do some more of our previous games. That's assuming that Gray's actually all moved in and has everything set up. If he doesn't, I might just play some video games and hang out with you guys on stream. I would like to ask a favor of the community. If you haven't already done so, could you please go to YouTube and check out the page and give it a follow, just so that we can have a proper URL, not whatever ukip7 which
Yeah, we need 100 subs on YouTube so we can unfuck the channel name. Is basically what it gets.
It'd be very nice if you could help us out. Please do that. Jump on the Discord and join the community if you haven't already done so. Again, let me know if you want a copy of the Resupply poster for your local laser tag center. Don't actually summon a demon, G&D. No, you have to read it backwards to summon the demon.
Do you want demons? This is how you get demons.
Love it. If you want a copy of the poster, let me know once it's actually done. I'll try and put aside some time this week to get that sorted ASAP so we can start building more of a community. Droxid, that's right. Discord backwards. Stallion, content for this stream, not content for D&D. That's right. Right. I got you. Demon.
Don't summon a demon for D&D. That would be terrible. No,
if you want to give me content ideas for D&D, I mean, he's the one who's going to suffer for it. So
yeah, we are actually looking for suggestions on what to spend special points on for D&D. If you have any suggestions, chuck them in the Discord. That'd be super helpful. We'll look to implement some of that stuff. We've been talking about it for 3 months now. Yeah.
Instant critical failure.
Oh no, I don't want people already.
I think it should be nice things for the PCs. I'm just saying.
Al has 40,000 points worth of special points. Jeez.
Like maybe you just get like a free hit die or something like that. I don't know.
Honestly, with the amount of people that spam the shit out of drop the controller on a Thunderdome Thursday, I don't want to give them the power to like kill my character. I actually like my character.
Oh, what another wyvern shows up. Craziest thing.
Fuck. I did send DK a message earlier in the week. I was like, what if someone redeems like 10,000 points and gets to choose a random NPC for one of us to kill off, and we'll see what happens then. And he was like, I'm not sure. What did you say? You were like concerned.
Like I don't even know where to start with that one. We have enough of a murder hobo atmosphere as it is. I don't think we need to.
Look, I will kick the shit out of any door that's available. So, but yeah, come join us. Come join us tomorrow. Hang out for D&D and watch us muddle our way through the beautiful world that DK has created for us.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. We do need some safety out. We do. But for this week, I have been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace out.
I've been throwing daggers in the One